Texans selection at pick number 48.
Sounds like we've got somebody on the phone.
And we do have somebody on the phone very quickly. Let's skip the Texans pick. We'll catch up with it here in a moment. We've got Donovan Ezeiruaku, the newest Dallas Cowboy, on the phone. Donovan, congratulations on being the second-round selection. What's going through your head right now?
How you doing? I appreciate you guys having me on. Nothing but joy. I lost my voice. I was yelling with the family just now. So, overjoyed, ecstatic, blessed. That's what's going through my mind right now.
Now, how did the process begin, and when were you first contacted by the Cowboys? Because it felt like they fought for you in that war room, and you ended up being the selection. It feels like a good fit.
Yeah, I met briefly, interview at the combine. But that's pretty much it. I didn't have any. So I saw the area code, didn't know who was. I saw the blue star, the caller ID at the top. So I was like, okay, answered it, and then it took off from there.
Hey, Donovan, Tommy Yarish, congratulations, man. Really happy for you. You're joining a Cowboys defensive front that already has Micah Parsons, and now they're going to line you up on the other side of it. How much does that excite you? Just not only playing alongside Micah Parsons, but playing for a Dallas Cowboys defensive line that has had a lot of success at getting after the quarterback.
Yeah, it's very exciting, and it's going to be very exciting to learn from somebody like Micah, and I think that'll be extremely pivotal and important to my development. And with the coaching staff that's here, I'm just excited to get to work.
What was your interaction like with the Cowboys prior to this? Were you hoping that maybe this would be the spot that you would land, or was this kind of a surprise for you?
Yeah, it was a surprise, honestly. It was a surprise. That's all I could pretty much say to that. I wasn't necessarily expecting it, but I'm happy that I got that phone call. So.
How would you describe yourself as a player overall? I think one of the things that stands out when we watch you is your finishing ability. Obviously, you're super disruptive. The tackles for loss speak for themselves. But what are Cowboy fans getting in you?
This team is going to get everything out of me first and foremost. But as a player, I would describe myself as somebody who's very athletic. I could play on the edge. I could stay. Be off the ball. I could walk up. I could rush the inside. And I have a knack for the football. I know I sometimes get, there might be a knock on my size, whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, the type of player I am, I'm a dog. I consider myself a dog, and I'm going to get to the football by any means. That's what this organization is getting out of me for sure.
Can't wait to see it as well. Now, you made such a jump in your game from your 21, 22, 23 seasons into 2024, where you had the big time jump up in production. What was the biggest change to your game from 23 to 24 to have the success that you did?
Dude, I would just say I definitely paid a lot more attention to detail. I did extra, but at the same time, I played free within our scheme at BC. And I think I give big credit to Coach O'Brien and Coach Tim Lewis for what they did, and what they helped me do, showing that I could play on the inside and I could play on the outside as well. And I could play off the ball as well. So just big credit to them, and I think that definitely helped with my spark of production.
Donovan, you spent some time with the Cowboys quarterbacks coach Steve Shimko at Boston College. I know he's on the offensive side of the ball, but what's your relationship like with him, and what were some of the conversations that you had with him throughout the process in those pre-draft meetings and now leading up to today?
Yeah, so I actually didn't talk to up until this point, but we had a great relationship at BC. He actually, one of the ones that recruited me from BC because he's a Jersey guy himself. And, last time I saw him was actually when we went down to Dallas and played SMU. He actually, he stopped by the hotel because, we have a relationship that's, kind of goes past football. He helped and, watched me develop and grow into a young man. So it'll be great to see him when I step into them doors soon.
You were a two-time team captain at Boston College. Brian Schottenheimer's been very clear that as the head coach of the Cowboys, he wants to build a really strong culture, and you kind of fit that mold. How important is the culture aspect and the locker room aspect of football for you, and how much pride do you take in taking a leadership role on whatever team you're on? So you were a two-time team captain at Boston College. Brian Schottenheimer has made it very clear that culture is a really big deal to him. How important is the locker room culture and just being a leader for you, and how much pride do you take in stepping into a role like that?
Yeah, it's very important. At the same time, I understand that, as a rookie, you got to earn that. You got to earn your respect from the veterans. You got to, go out there. You got to go to work. You got to make plays, and then you don't just walk into a building and you're just the leader of the room, leader of that team. So it'll be something that'll be earned, obviously. But I do see myself as a leader. But I'd love to, and I can't wait to learn from the good veterans inside that locker room.
All right, Donovan, what do you like to do outside of football? Let's get to know Donovan the person here for a second.
Donovan the person, as you guys can see, yesterday we had a draft party, and I had even more family and friends here. But today, it was a lot, just very more intimate with my family. That's who I am. I'm family.
Love to hear it. I think we lost you.
My God,
we lost you there for a second, Donovan. Hey, we take a lot of pride in the defensive line here in Dallas. We can't wait to see you as a part of it. Congratulations on such a big day, and we can't wait to see you with the star on the side of your helmet.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
There he goes, Donovan Ezeiruaku, the second-round pick, 44th overall for your Dallas Cowboys. Love hearing it. Kind of a bad connection. Again, we're 0 for 2 in terms of cell service at the